Hey, how you doing? Monday, November 23rd. Didn't know what I was going to say there, to be honest with you, but it's Monday afternoon, November 23rd. My name is Mike. Welcome to the FBTV live stream. It appears that we're going to be doing this pretty regular, so may want to make note of that. Don't know how often yet. Maybe 2 or 3 times a week, not sure. But what this is, the live stream, well, let's just call it a variety show for the time being, because we're going to be talking about a lot of different things. We're going to be talking about, obviously, things in transportation. We are going to be talking about things that have nothing to do with transportation. You can be part of the broadcast as well. You can send in your questions. You can mail them in. You can do that by sending us an email, fbtv@freightbrokertv.com. Go to freightbrokertv.com, our website. We have forms you can fill out. Contact page will allow you to fill out a form and submit. And you can even call our studio line. It's a voicemail. You can leave a message, comment, question, whatever. 479-668-0213. And obviously, if you missed the live stream, you'll be able to catch it on demand in the live stream area of our YouTube page. And you're going to find it also on our freightbrokertv.com website. So check that out. Matter of fact, while we're talking about websites, here's the website I'm talking about, freightbrokertv.com. We have a lot of information up here. Come down through here, pretty much there's our live streams. We got them here. We got podcasts, info, articles, everything right here. And the Freight Broker TV website, actually, what it's for more than anything is somebody thinking about getting into the transportation industry, at least the business side of the industry. Doesn't matter if you're a truck driver, thinking about buying your own truck, maybe starting a brokerage, becoming a broker agent, whatever it might be. That's what the FBTV Insider's for, is to provide you information to get you started down the right path. Now what I'm getting at here, I know this, how it works, and if you're a driver, this may sound familiar to you, but I know how it goes. You're a driver, you're a company driver, and you have the opportunity to get into a lease purchase program somewhere, and that's great. A lot of people really will tell you that's the worst thing you can do, lease purchase. But my thoughts is that's a good place to start. Yeah, don't expect to ever own the truck, but it's giving you that experience without all the financial or, well, without anything bad hitting your credit report, should something go wrong with the truck. But generally what happens is somebody will be a company driver. They start looking at the owner-operator. Everybody wants to own a truck. And they have the opportunity to enter a lease purchase with the trucking company. All right, they get into the lease purchase. And they're doing all right, and they go on with it, and weeks, months, maybe a year or two goes by, and one day they get ticked off, and they quit. Walk away from it all. It happens. Drivers, you have to understand, from one day to the next, you just never know. You can be in a great mood today, and tomorrow it's just, the dog doesn't know you, kids don't recognize your voice. You're just in a bad mood, and you just walk away from it one day. Now, so they quit, and they learn real quick they don't get to take the truck with them. And that kind of doesn't sit well in your crawl, because you're looking at all the money you spent on that truck, all the payments you've made on that truck. and you're not getting anything for it. Well, no, you're not. And there's another side of that coin, but now's not time to go into it. Experience is where I was going. So generally what happens is the driver that was in that lease purchase program with that trucking company, they feel like they learned a valuable lesson. They will never, ever, ever let anyone take away their truck again. So what they do is they make a few phone calls, maybe to Arrow or some used truck lot somewhere, or worse, Craigslist. And well, they find out pretty quick they can buy a truck pretty easy. Pretty easy to get a truck financed. So they buy a truck and they lease on to a trucking company as an owner-operator. And they're proud as can be. And they should be. You know, it's their truck. Nobody's going to take that truck away. If they quit this company, the truck's going with them. It's their truck. Ownership. Well, while they're contracted to a trucking company hauling loads, they start watching the load boards when they're in a truck stop or whatever. And what happens is simply they begin to see the rates that a broker is paying to move a load. And they compare those rates with what the trucking company they're working with, what they're paying, and they start doing the math in their head, and they are like thinking, geez, you know, I could be making a lot more money. I could make a lot more money if I got my own authority and used a broker as my dispatcher. Without knowing it, you've already set yourself up for failure. No, that's the wrong thing to do. What you've got to do is have your own customers. If you don't have your own customers, it's going to be an uphill battle, and it's already an uphill battle even with your own customers. But it's going to be more of an uphill battle if you think you're going to use a broker 100% of the time for all of your loads. As a rule, a trucking company using a broker 100% of the time for their loads, they're losing anywhere from $300 and as much as $600 a week per truck. You're thinking, what? How is that possible? How are they losing money? Well, it's not that they're losing money. It's money they're not making because they're using a broker for 100% of their loads. If they had their own customers, they would have loads that they're making 100% of the rate on. But when they're using a broker, you're giving up 15, 20, 25%, 10%, whatever, of that money you're giving to a broker. Now think about this. If you've got 10 trucks and you're using a broker for 100% of your loads, even at $500 a week per truck, that's $5,000 a week you're paying a dispatcher or a broker to get loads for your trucks. Is there a dispatcher worth $5,000 a week? I've not met them. There are good dispatchers, and there are some pretty poor ones, but I've never been a dispatcher anywhere that was worth $5,000 a week, and no disrespect to you good dispatchers, but come on, $5,000? That's what I'm getting at. A trucking company needs to have their own customers. And that's, you know, if you're thinking about doing stuff, you know, taking that step, getting on the business side of transportation, yeah, check out FBTV Insider. A lot of information out there for you. Now, for those of you thinking about becoming a broker, well, say no more. Taltoa, check us out. Matter of fact, we're sponsored by Taltoa, FBTV. A lot of information here. Taltoa just updated their website and their training here over the last 30 days. But you can come to taltoa.com, TALTOA.com, and click on the training, and you'll see all the training options available to you. You got live, in-depth training, no travel, hands-on. You've got self-study. You've got the Freight Broker on Demand and it's conducted. It's pretty neat. It's conducted over a 10-day period. Every other day, you're going to have access to training modules, and I'll show you that in here in a little bit. But you also got the FB3DW. Now, you may be saying, well, what's the difference between the on-demand and the 3DW? Well, the 3DW is a 3-day webinar conducted over a 2-week period, 3 Mondays, and you can see their next one starts in a couple of weeks. The main difference is, even though it's the same material, with the 3DW, you're getting actual hands-on with the different tools, programs, software you're going to be using when you're a broker. But if that's not that important to you, yeah, you may want to check out the on-demand. Let me show you real quick. Here's the Insider we were talking about a minute ago. Now, if you go ahead and sign up for the Insider, well, you get free access. This is our FBTV 24/7 TV. I guess it's got a self-study option. But you can go through here, and you get access to all this material here. Now, let me back up a little bit. You can have access to all this material. You can sign up for the free part of the Insider, and you have access to all the public content and such. But if you are, I'm trying to get this back. There we go. Yeah, if you are an insider, you have access to all the insider content. What I'm talking about is we have the free content that's available to everyone. That's all of our public content, everything on YouTube, our podcast, our radio show, all the public content. You're going to have access to that. Now, if you're an insider, you're going to have additional access to insider videos, insider podcast, insider training material. I think this week, I think I mentioned this last week too, what's up is how to get a contract as a freight broker agent. There are steps to doing it correctly. Even if you have no experience, yeah, you can get a contract. You just got to know how to do it right. I don't care what broker advertisement or classifieds you look at, they're all going to say that they want experience. They want you to have a book of business. Yeah, they do, but think about that. Wouldn't you? Wouldn't you rather have seriously, wouldn't you rather have a broker agent come into your operation that had a book of business experience? They could start making you money tomorrow? Of course you would. Anybody would, and that's why brokers put that on their advertisements. But if you're diligent and you're persistent, you're going to find a broker that'll give you the opportunity. Now, as far as what I was talking about, the on-demand, no, I don't have any on-demands in here, do I? Looking. No, I don't. Well, yeah, I do. Here. I see it now. Okay, so right here we got the Freight Broker on Demand. You can click on that, and here you are. So, your first day, there we go. Okay, now I've got it right. You'd have access to all this material in Module 1. You'd have the videos, you got additional supplemental videos for it, you got the downloads, you got a quiz here you can take to make sure you're getting the information right. And then a couple of days later you get part 2, then you get part 3, and so on and so forth. And it continues until you completed all of the training. That takes 10 days. 10 days total. So keep that in mind. That's $195. All right. Enough of the commercial. Hey, if it's your birthday today, happy birthday to you. And before I go any further, happy birthday to my daughter, Kathy. She's having a birthday today, and I wish her the best. We don't get to see each other as much as we'd like, or I'd like anyway. But it is what it is. But a day doesn't go by that I don't think about her, and she's in my heart, and I know she's doing well. And I didn't know this till today, actually. I did not know this till this morning when we was putting together the material for what we were going to be talking about today and the radio show and things like that. I'll tell you about the radio show in a moment. But also having a birthday on this day, November 23rd, William H. Bonney. Name sound familiar? That's Billy the Kid. He was born on this day back in 1859. 1887, Boris Karloff Yeah, I talked about this on the radio show this morning. He was fun to watch. You know, those old black and white movies. You know, you had Elvira. You know, usually it was Elvira, or every local TV station back in the 60s and 70s, they had their own Saturday night spook. Here where I'm at in Fort Smith, Arkansas, we had Dr. Boo and Melvin the Dummy Mummy. And actually, I'm thinking you should be able to... hold on here. Should have this done, but I don't want to do. How sad. Yeah, I didn't know this. They're even on the Internet Movie Database. How about that? Now, I thought this was, yeah, okay, it was. I was going to say this was produced here at a local TV station. I'm sorry, I'm looking at this. I'm trying to find videos as well. Because if I could find a video, I'd kind of show you. I thought they had some stuff on YouTube. And I'm looking here, but I'm not seeing anything. Is this, let's see what this does. No, I don't care about that. I'm having to go through. Somebody's got to. Oh, here we go. I'll give you a shot of this here if I got it queued up. There he is. There's Melvin the Dummy Mummy, and that was Dr. Boo back there with the cape. And obviously that's Melvin and Dr. Boo. But anyway, that was good times. We all had that. But anyway, Boris Karloff, he was born on this day back in 1887. Harpo Marx having a birthday. Well, he was born on this day back in 1888. I think he's past having a birthday. Oscar Robinson, he's 82 today, basketball player. He was born on this day back in 1938. Okay, coming up... coming up to it, we're going to be talking about this. We're going to have a video this week, and on the YouTube, and even in the Insider, we're going to be talking a lot about how brokers and carriers can prevent thefts, business thefts. This is becoming more and more of a common occurrence, and I've got two clients right now that have been taken. But let's talk about how a trucking company can protect themselves from getting scammed. First off, with the broker, you get a call from someone. They identify themselves as being a trucking company. They want to move your load. They may ask a question like, do you advance on a load? And a lot of brokers do. They'll advance 40% once the load has been picked up. Well, this person says, yeah, we'll do that. And they send you their paperwork, and you send them your paperwork, and everything's up, and everything's good to go. You get a call. Hey, I've picked up the load. You advance the carrier money. And everything's good to go. And then it starts falling apart. You get a call from the trucking company that actually hauled the load, wanting to know when you're going to pay them. Why haven't you paid? And, you're just scratching your head. Well, invoice me or whatever. All of a sudden, everything you think was real is starting to become untangled. It's just falling apart in front of you, because you find that the trucking company that hauled the load is the trucking company you thought that was going to haul the load. But everything's different now. The rate on their load confirmation was going to be, $500 more, or, whatever. And nothing about any advances, no deductions, and you're scratching your head. And what happens when it all comes out in the wash, you figure out that you got scammed. How does this scam work? Well, there are a lot of trucking companies that will post their information on their website, their shipper packet or the carrier packet, whatever you want to call it, has all their legal documentation in it, where anybody can download it. So somebody gets that information and they download it, and they may Photoshop it a little bit, change some things around, use a burner phone or whatever they have to use, and they find a load, and before they call about the load, they're looking for a broker that will advance on the load. Once they've found that broker, they will contact the broker and act as if they're the trucking company. They agree to take the load. The paperwork is exchanged. Everything's good to go. And the broker advances the fake trucking company, the fraudulent trucking company. They advance them the money on the load. And now all of a sudden, that individual disappears. Nowhere to be found. The money's been paid, nowhere to be found. You kind of get what's going on here. What happened is when the paperwork was exchanged between the broker and the trucking company, or the fraudulent trucking company, that individual now had broker paperwork so they could represent themselves to another trucking company as the broker. And they can, they post the load and paying $500 over market or whatever, and a trucking company is going to come along and they're going to say, yeah, we'll do that load. They do all their checks and balances. They see that trucking company is legit, or that broker's legit. Everything's good. They pick up the load, they deliver it, and now everything starts unraveling. You kind of see how this is going. You got to protect yourself. Now, how do we do that? Well, first of all, if you are a broker, when you get the carrier packet, well, of all times for this to be slow, see if I can get this to pull up. Well, it's not wanting to, but when you get the carrier packet, you're the one that's been talking to that trucking company. You want to go to the Safer Web website, FMCSA website. Enter the MC number, DOT number, whatever, for that carrier that's agreed to move the load. When the company snapshot opens, check that general information for that carrier. Make sure everything is as you know it should be. If something in there is not as you expect it to be, well, you need to call the phone number that's on the Safer Web website, because that is the phone number registered to that MC number. That's the proverbial horse's mouth, so to speak. You need to call that number, identify yourself, your brokerage, and verify that they have whatever that individual's name was authorized to get loads for their trucks. And more times than not, you're going to find that the two phone numbers are going to be different. You can run an area code check on the phone number that the fraudulent trucking company / whatever you want to call him gave you, and you'll find the state that phone number is registered to. Not that that's going to mean anything, but I'd almost bet you a nickel to a donut it's not going to be anything close to the trucking company's information. But you're verifying. All you're doing is just checking to make sure everything's on the up and up. Now, as a broker, that's what you can do to protect yourself. Now, I've got 2 clients that will attest to this. Check that information out. Make the phone call. I've got 2 clients that didn't make the call, and they got burned. They got scammed in just the same type of scam I'm telling you about. Now, a lot of you may be saying, well, why are you telling everybody about this scam? Well, because it's pretty well known. It's nothing not known. It's just people don't take the time to check and verify information, and you've got to. You absolutely got to. Okay, if you're thinking about Christmas, Trying to figure out what to buy for that special person in your life, or maybe not so special. Well, Freight Broker TV store, we've got it for you. All kinds of stuff. Coffee mugs, t-shirts, tank tops, hoodies, phone cases, FBTV radio coffee mugs, FBTV radio classic t-shirt. Matter of fact, well, to find that, you just go to Freight Broker TV website. Right there at the top, it says FBTV store, and there you go. Right there at it. You got it. But keep on saying radio. Yeah, every morning, 8 a.m., go back to our radio. Here's the radio station player, or you can download the tuner and enter that URL into the tuner, and you'll be able to pick up the radio station. Every morning, 8 a.m., we do something called the kitchen table. And the kitchen table is, 1 hour radio show. And now for whatever reason, there we go. 1 hour radio show where we sit around, we talk about events. It's not all about transportation or trucking. We're going to be talking about a lot of stuff going on in that. But you can catch that every morning, 8 a.m., FBTV radio. All right, we've about did everything we could for today. Today in history, we haven't done that, have we? History is always pretty neat. And today is no different than any other day. This day back in 1863, a patent was granted for the process of making color photographs. 1919, Texas A&M defeated the University of Texas 7-0. What makes that game so special? It was the first play-by-play football game broadcast in the U.S. This date back in 1936, the first edition of Life magazine is published. Doctor Who, I know a lot of people are fans of Doctor Who. If you watch Big Bang Theory, I know all them boys are. Leonard and Raj and Sheldon and who am I forgetting? Wallowitz? Howard. But anyway, Doctor Who, he premiered on British television back in 1963. Non-stop yo-yo record is set. 120 hours of yo-yoing. And yet they will only give a driver 14 hours to drive 11. Go figure. Back in 2004, Dan Rather announced he'd be stepping down as principal anchor of the CBS Evening News in March of the next year. All right, very good. Very good. I think we've about covered it for today. Will we do another live stream tomorrow? I don't know yet. I just don't know. But check it out. If you haven't followed us on Twitter, you need to. Follow us on Twitter. You'll find us on Twitter at Freight TV. That way you keep up to date when we got live broadcasts coming up or live streams or we post a new video or the radio show, whatever. You'll keep up to date about all that information. So it's Monday, November 23rd. Go have a great Monday, the rest of it anyway, unless, of course, you've made other plans. Talk to you soon.